do that while we're doing it. Anyway, there's all kinds of new capabilities that that we have. We just need people to use it, because there's no point in turning on all this stuff if nobody's using it. That's
we will use it.
okay. Well, that's good.
Well,
I'm doing that in faith. Anyway,
I'm gonna
back to you, Dave. You're in charge.
start the roll call.
Yeah.
So welcome to the October 31st, 2023 session of Tangerine SDR and Hamside technical session. My name is Dave, KV0S. And this week I've been cleaning up configurations on my different computers, but I haven't been changing much. And I have been running Whisper Daemon here. So it seems to be reliable and no problems. So good job, Rob. That's it for me. Next on the list is Nathaniel, W2NAF. Go ahead.
Thanks, Dave. About same thing here as usual. Just moving along with all the projects and everything. I think the thing that impacts this group the most is I have been working on the Hamside workshop grant for the National Science Foundation. I've been working closely with the Case Western Reserve University team, and that grant is just about ready to get submitted. So I think we'll probably be putting that grant in hopefully this week. And then I also went through the Frontiers paper again. I went through the second proof, made another 63 corrections to that proof and got submitted that again. So I'm sure the people at the Frontiers typesetting office love me. I bet I'm their favorite person. So I got that in. And then the other thing that's very exciting, there's a lot of exciting things. I now have a date for the crane. The crane at the University of Scranton for installing our tower is supposed to be November 10th. So it's now no longer just 2 weeks away. They have a scheduled date, so weather permitting. And it turns out, so I didn't plan it this way, but it turns out that we are going to be flying Steve Serwin up to Scranton to do a project with my digital signal processing class about his experiment with the eclipse. He's going to come up, and then we're going to try to get Bob McGuire up that day, and Mary Lou West and Jonathan Rizzo will all be on campus on that Friday, November 10th, when the crane goes up.
Wow.
So
Very good.
It'll be fun. So cross your fingers that this actually happens. Back to net.
Well, very good. And hope the weather's nice.
Yes.
Don't
I hope
stand
so.
under it.
Yeah.
Stand under it taking a picture.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next on the list is Dave, KD0EAG. Go ahead, Dave.
Oh, I've been busy doing something. A lot of carrying stuff from one room to another, but not seeming to gain any desk space. But I've been working hard on both magnetometers and on the Clementine type design, and trying to set up a proper test rig so I can check things out pretty well and get all the parts in stock in China so that I just have them put them together instead of me. But other than that, plus the usual family stuff. So that's it for me.
Okay. Next on the list is Franco, K4VZ. Go ahead, Franco.
Thanks, Dave. This week I've been waiting for someone to try my changes on the RX88 stream with a different frequency of the reference, but I haven't heard from anyone. So if anyone's interested, I can show how to do it. That would be a good thing. The other thing I did on Saturday, Dave, I was on Whisper because I wanted to try, and I saw you send my call sign to WhisperNet. So I thought,
Yes.
okay,
Very good.
back to net.
Very good. I haven't been enjoying using Rob's Grafana database and looking at how much detail you can figure out about what people are doing. So I'll put a plug in for Rob. Next on the list is Jim, K4BSE. Go ahead, Jim.
Good evening, all. Well, I've been threatening for some time, and I finally got it done this week to take all three of my HAMSI experiments, which were spread out over about 8 feet of workbench space, and kind of consolidate them. I had a desktop cabinet that I was not using, and I finally got them all into that and reclaimed quite a bit of desk space. And hopefully it'll be a little bit more reliable now. I've still got a couple of things to tie down, a little bit of cleanup to do, but basically I've got it all in and working, and like I said, not taking up as much space and hopefully more reliable. And I've got everything I can just switch through on one monitor and see all three experiments. That's about all I've been doing. I'm back to net K4BSE.
Okay. Next on my list is Rob Robinette. AI6 VN.
I think I've already taken up my time, but
Well, just tell us a brief thing of what you're doing.
Okay, well, I continue to work on refining Whisper Demon and working with Phil a lot to make sure that we know, we had encountered some installation problems, so that's really the areas that we're working on right now. We haven't yet tried to use Franco's. That's kind of in Phil's ballpark, whether to use other frequencies than the 27 megahertz, but that hasn't been tried. But we've been working with the code. Installation is the major issue now, trying to make it easy for people to install and utilize the system without having to dig into all kinds of procedures of various kinds of learning about Linux and so on. So that's a major area of our focus right now. So that's back
Very good. Next on the list, we have Michael, AA8K. Go ahead, Michael.
Greetings to everyone listening. Back to you, Dave.
Okay. Next on the list is Bob in 5BRG. Go ahead, Bob.
Hello, everyone. Working on software here, trying to make my program line up with the stuff that Bill Engelke put together. And that's what I've been up to. So back to you, Dave.
Well, very good. And next on the list is David in 1HAC. Go ahead, David.
Good evening, everyone. Been doing a lot of work getting our some more of our AM Doppler receivers together. Trying to build out our system. Didn't quite make it for this eclipse, but hopefully for the next one. And one thing I'd like to point out, I think it was a couple nights ago, we had a surprise geomagnetic storm.
Yeah.
And I picked up on it because I was listening to 15 megahertz WWV. I scanned through the frequencies, and 25 disappeared, 20 disappeared, 15 was almost gone and warbling. And I said, oh, I know what that is. And sure enough, we had a geomagnetic storm going on. So I'm curious what the GRAPE network might have shown at that time, if there's anyone who has some plots of it.
What day and time was that?
This was what, 2 nights ago, about what would it have been, about
28th.
Yeah.
The NOAA Space Weather site has good records of it.
Yeah, I was just heading for the K index plot, that it should show it. It was it was October 29th, about 0 UT on.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
29th, there were actually 2 spikes through the 29th 0900.
Yeah,
But, that's
my
when it is.
original-
So maybe after call up, we might take a look.
Yep.
Back to net.
Okay, next on the list is Gary, AF8A. Sorry, Gary. Go ahead.
No problem, Dave. That's a CW call. I readily admit that. Good evening, all. Not a whole lot to report. Just been trying to keep up with some questions and issues and some minor things regarding the Solar Eclipse QSO party as the logs come in. So that was to be expected. Actually, a lot fewer problems than I expected. So things are going pretty smoothly. Only thing I've got for the group tonight when we're through the roll call, Nathaniel, if I could get about 5 minutes of your time, I've got some stuff I've got prepared for the NASA SciAC thing later next month. And I'd like to get your opinion on that before I do any more work on it. So that's it for now. Back to net.
One quick question, Gary. What is the building behind you?
That is the Rockefeller Science Center at the Case Western Reserve campus.
Okay.
And at the stones at the top of the building have famous people in physics throughout
Yes.
around the whole building. So that's why Ampere and Wheatstone are up there.
Yes. Very good. Well, that's appropriate ones for us. Okay. Next on the list, we have JWB8 SBI. Go ahead, Jay.
Good evening, everybody. Not a whole heck of a lot new here to report. Just reading the mail on everybody. So 7-3 to all. Take care. Stay safe. Back to net control.
Okay. Next on the list is Joe, W7LUX. Go ahead, Joe.
Good evening, everyone. I pay a lot of attention to propagation and noticed something unusual here a couple of days ago. So let me share my screen real quickly. Lee and I were noticing big gaps in the Eclipse grape version, but it shows up really well here in the older the older grape version. Right in this area, just suddenly the signal just flat drops, stays very low for like 3 or 4 hours early in the morning, and then recovers. And this has been a 3 or 4 day event. This is the longest duration. But anyway, that's on the 26th and right around noon UTC. And that's what I've got. So back to you, Dave.
Okay. There we go. Next on the list is Jonathan, KC3 EEY. Go ahead, Jonathan.
Hi, everybody. It was a fairly busy week for me as non-VLF related projects started to finish and dwindle down. The VLF server that is recording at Nathaniel's house, it's doing recording and archival of the VLF data. It's also doing different sorts of analysis, and the hard drive wasn't mounted. The external hard drive wasn't mounted that the data is actually archived to. So the its main drive filled up. So we were able to get that fixed, and Nathaniel was able to get that drive put on a UPS, and he's also going to get a UPS for his router as well. Just to make sure that everything is all backed up during any sort of power blips. Also the there was some good discussion on the Hamside group regarding the nulls seen on WWVV and other VLF transmitters, the nulls at dawn and dusk, and the signal amplitude. And I encourage anyone and everyone, if you have the interest, to monitor these VLF transmitters. With one VLF receiver, you could capture all of the VLF transmitters. You know, as long as it's fairly broadband. And if your sound card samples at 192K, then you could capture up to WWV, and with the GPS, you could capture phase measurements as well. So so I encourage that anybody who's interested to definitely do it. And with that geomagnetic storm, there was a nice little you know, nice little surprise. I'm gonna share my screen just for a moment here. You can see October 29th, 10:18 UTC. We have some risers, and you can see you know, these are the rising emissions. Let's see if I could if it will play the no, it won't. But this was a you know, nice little surprise of that of the geomagnetic storming that went on yesterday, which was really cool. Also, lastly, for those who are on the VLF groups.io group, there was a very nice discussion about E-field receivers and trying to get rid of medium wave intermodulation, where often you would hear you would often hear strong AM transmitters in your receiver, and different ways to actually filter it out. Paul and Sean in that thread, they offered the probably the, you know, best advice, most practical, and most effective. And that sort of filter is used on the VLF receiver that is recording. And thankfully, I don't have any of those issues. That's all I have. Back to the net.
Okay. Next on the list is Tom, N5EG. Go ahead, Tom.
Oh, good evening, Dave, and everyone on the group. I finally ordered some of the thermal matting stuff from DigiKey, and we'll get to work on the RX888 thermal mods. And then hopefully we'll get started on doing some HF testing. That's about it.
Well, very good. So I think I've called on everybody. Is there somebody I have not called on? Well, then we're open for general discussion.
Yeah, both 26th and 29th graphs look pretty exciting.
Yeah, I have my 29th one up on the screen right now. It does look pretty impressive.
Yes.
Let's see here. And share that. Here's my 29th. You see a lot of swings going exceeding the nominal scale of plus minus 1 hertz. And then there's the day before.
Mm-hmm.
And the day before that.
Wow.
Here's the 26th. Back to the 29th.
Hey, your 29th swings a lot more than mine does, even. Mine swung quite a bit.
Yeah, I'm interested that your signal didn't drop around 0 UT.
Mine
It
did
almost completely dropped out here in New Hampshire.
Yeah, mine dropped out from about 0900 to 1200 or a little after.
You know, one thing that is kind of funny, when I did a paper on the geomagnetic storm using the RBN and WSPR data back in 2018, 2019, I looked at the 2017 geomagnetic storm. It was very hard to actually see the signature of the storm in the RBN and WSPR net data. And we now have a NASA postdoc who's looking at some at the RBN WSPR data for the St. Patrick's Day storm in 2013. And you know, again, she's looking at it, and it's hard to see the effect of the storm in that RBN and WSPR data. So it's maybe more subtle than we think.
Yeah, what's interesting, what particularly interested me is that my signal dropped out quite considerably to the point where I could just barely hear it. And then it had the characteristic auroral warble in it. So I'm not sure what path it was taking, but it was there was something quite turbulent in the ionosphere that evening. So yeah, it'd be interesting to be able to distinguish a signature of these events.
Yeah.
And it probably does take multiple locations because there's probably multipath going on.
And it was also really nice to see the periodic emissions, you know, in the VLF band as well. I was really happy that I was able to capture that. Actually, I could play that very quickly. The audio, if you listen very carefully, make sure to hold your ear by the speaker. It might be hard to hear, but you could hear 2 periodic emissions.
I heard 2 clicks.
Unfortunately, I have to add some gain to that to make it a little bit more audible. But if you listen to it very closely, you could you know, you could definitely hear it. And you're also more than welcome to check abilene.org and click on live VLF and then Springbrook, and then you're able to listen to it there too.
By the way, I'll also mention that night they were saying, oh, there might be some aurora, but it was a full moon. Very hard to see the aurora with, and also had some haze coming in. But it had, by the time I actually was thinking of going out to take a look, which was a couple hours later, the signal had recovered and the storm was done. It was a very short one, but pronounced.
Dave Whitten, have you had any contact with Hillman this week?
Not since, let's see, when did I send him that stuff?
It was about a week ago.
It was Sunday or Monday, Sunday, I think. No, he sent me an email saying he was really busy. He had got it. He appreciated it, and that he had a couple things to do before he could think about it properly or something. Something like that.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So I think I've given him most of what I have to give. But
that sounds good. Yeah, he probably is working on it. There are so many things to do. So I'll try and touch base with him later this week and see how he's doing with it too. Because I know my wife's working on some projects with him and got a few other things going with him too.
I mostly went down. What I did was I went down, kind of point by point, things that were highlighted in the as needing amplification, and I tried to satisfy most of as many of them as I possibly could. Many I could. I moved stuff around I moved, let's see, what did I do? I put zipped up versions of the project files on the HamSci GitHub. I don't really like, I don't like doing it the way that I've done it. I'd like to rearrange that. I did find that I could create new ones if I needed to, but I didn't want to get carried away at that point.
Right.
But I made a fork of my RunMag repository. I figured out, boy, that's obscure, but I found how to fork from one repository to another when you're a member of both. And you have to tell it where you want it to go.
Yes, I see it here.
Yeah, and so that's just an exact copy of what's on mine, and it should indicate if it gets behind, changes I make.
Right.
And they should be able to just
synchronize it.
Synchronize it, yeah. And
yeah, right there.
Yeah, that's what we should do every now and then. I'll try to remember to do it. The problem with the other, like this is those are the RunMag is a typical software Git repository, but the PSWS magnetometer really isn't proper. Doing it that way, having where's the code? Or
I don't know.
Where did it go?
Is this the right one? Oh, I see. You created a different one.
I didn't try to.
But there it is. I can get rid of the other one.
Yeah, it won't normally. It must be some difference between them because it won't normally let you create something that's already been used. Anyhow,
because this one has a dash in it and the other one has an underscore.
Right. Actually, you created this one for me that night, and there there's already been one up there.
Yeah. I thought I created this one over here.
That's documentation.
This says, or wait, that's May 10th. Yeah,
that one has an underscore.
Oh, this one. Yeah, this one's from way back from December of last year.
Right. We probably want to get rid of that one.
Yeah, I can get rid of this.
It doesn't look like there's anything of great value in it.
No, it's just got a license and a README. So yeah, I can get rid of this one.
One thing I spent quite a bit of time on, I assume it was worthwhile. Yeah, I'd like to turn those others into proper, I know people put sub-projects within Git projects, but and there's probably right ways to do it, but those really aren't regular GitHub. They're not. they're not, there's no way to update them or track them, and have versions on them and stuff. I don't believe the way you should do, and for various reasons, they're not. Doesn't seem to be the great way to do it. It would be better to have two others and maybe link them in. I'll see, but it's just not the way GitHub was conceived, I think. On the other hand, I did try quite a bit. In fact, I did it twice. I was trying to follow the instructions in the reviewer's instructions in the paper, and they were recommending but not demanding that the project be registered as an open source hardware project according to the terms of the open source hardware, the official open source hardware thing. And so I tried to go through all that process, and it seemed I could do it in ham-size name, but nothing happened, and I waited a day and got worried about it, and then did it all again. And I finally noticed the little fine print where it says it could take a couple weeks before anybody reviews this. So presumably that's in the works, just so that it's a really truly open source hardware.
Yeah. Is this on GitHub that?
Well, my stuff is on GitHub.
Right.
Okay, but the official open source hardware site is a GitLab thing, and you can put stuff there too, but they don't say the words GitHub, but they allude to other repositories and being all right. And so that's what I did. I didn't want to have to fight that battle. And so I was just trying to do it really by the book, which is a long book. And it's, it's Bruce Kearns. Bruce Parents stuff. And so it's very, it's pretty legalistic and very well laid out, but I was trying to follow the rules. And Tapper's license is definitely a recognized license under that. And the software, GPL3, and the documentation is CC by 4.0, I guess, whatever that means. And do everything the way it was supposed to be. So it would be, at least as far as that goes, the way it ought to be. So
yeah,
there are loose ends in it, though.
That sounds good. Yeah, I'm not familiar with this official open hardware process that you're talking about through GitLab, because I'm certainly aware of the Tapper open hardware license, but I wasn't aware of something through GitLab that you were supposed to do or encouraged to do.
It's not really, doesn't have to be GitLab. They have a GitLab installation, and they encourage you to put projects on it.
Right.
It's an alternative to GitHub for those who are allergic to Microsoft, and which I can understand, but there's just too much of this stuff. And what the Open Hardware Consortium or whatever it is, it's like the public, whoever's in charge of public open source, the Open Source Foundation. It's had all the holy water sprinkled all over it, and lawyers have done their thing, done their war dance around it. So it should be fairly, but it's just like the open source or whoever they are, says
The-
that
the-
GPL, certain
Right.
GPL licenses are okay and Apache's okay, but others are not so good. And
Yeah.
they're trying to do the same thing with hardware.
Okay.
And it was specifically mentioned in the Hardware X paper, the purple type in the Hardware X paper. So I thought I'd try to do it. And but it took a little time. And I still haven't got the stone tablet yet with everything carved into it. I was trying to do stuff by the book, painful as it might be.
That makes sense. You also sent me and a few other people an email about this Home Assistant 10 years of privacy.
Don't worry about that. That was just a wild hair I had. It was the idea of having a bigger, addressing the installation problem of making something as complex as these parts of the project, like Rob's stuff, parts of the project like Phil's stuff, they're moving targets, but if in the long run you wanted to have a lot of people doing something complex without losing all their hair, it would, they're using Docker containers and stuff, and making it so the average Joe doesn't have to devote his life to it to get something. And it was just something out of Linux Network News, talking about the history of Home Assistant, which has been successful at doing what the corporations haven't been too successful doing, of getting these home automation things and usable.
So what you're saying basically is that it's a way of pushing out updates to the system, to the large network, while still for non-technical users, but it looks like technical users can still get their hands wrapped around it.
Yeah. It's not just for updates. It's a way of installing things to begin with too. And having a dashboard. I don't know. I wasn't even suggesting we do it. Dave Larson and Michael Howen had been talking about all of this stuff as a an almost totally different way to look at radio. And
but I think that is kind of, I think this is, do you mind if I put this link in the chat for the people to know what we're talking about? Because they're probably a little lost right now. And I can just put the link in the chat. And so Dave sent me this link earlier this week. So it says many home automation devices come with their own mobile app or cloud service. However, using multiple apps or services is inconvenient. So it's purposely tempting to only buy devices from the same vendor, but this can lead to lock-in. Our project lets users manage home automation devices from various vendors without lock-in. Is Home Assistant. So you're saying that, like, Rob could have his Whisper Demon app on here, and the grape people could have their grape app and something like that. So there's like different.
Yeah, you could have all these things and then have a kind of a home dashboard and also have installation options to participate in the larger data collection efforts. When that's desirable. This whole Home Assistant thing was, there was always a lot of people who didn't want to do what Philips or any of the Google or anybody. And there was the brouhaha about the weather stations too, where
Mhm.
IBM just kind of took everything over at Weather Underground and didn't give anybody back their data after all these years of giving it to them. So some people are leery of just automatically giving away everything and not having anything of their own to show of it. And some of this stuff, like the Grafana things, could probably be integrated into this now, you know, in some ways, just the way it is.
Yeah.
But you know, it's kind of a work of passion of a lot of a certain number of folks.
Yeah.
And it was me being kind of
Yeah.
philosophical or maybe harebrained.
Yeah. No, I mean, I like I think if I understand it, I like the idea, because what I've always wanted from this is it to be a modular system that different people could add services to, and different people could choose to use different services based on both their interests and their capabilities and their resources. And I think like it's really interesting kind of looking at the different projects that are going on, looking at how Rob and Gwyn look at things with the Whisper Demon and what they're doing, and the Grape people are doing something a bit different, and it's kind of, yeah, it would be really nice to get all of this into some sort of somewhat some way of bringing it all under one roof in some proper fashion. But yeah, I don't think yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I mean, I don't think we're quite there yet, at least.
I didn't mean to suggest that.
No, I mean, like I was on the Grape call this week, and we're still the Grape 2 is coming along, but it's still coming, and we're still like discussing how much bandwidth we're going to capture, and what just a lot of these details that just kind of just getting through the basics of stuff.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, but
I am, by the way, with the magnetometers, I am trying to work as closely as he wants me to with John Gibbon.
Yeah, he's mentioned that, and he's been very appreciative. And yeah, he mentioned that you gave him all the open source designs, and I think that really is helping him out with that part of the project. So yeah, he's very appreciative. Yeah,
I plan to continue.
So. Thank you. You also mentioned you were making some progress with the Clementine.
Yeah. Let's see yeah, I've gotten two revisions of the board, two versions of the boards back from China. One utterly hopeless, one that may be useful for my purposes of, getting it all clear in my mind how the pieces work together. And then I've been working on laying down the components, the A to D related components, and the GPIO, I2C and stuff components down. And I've been working with John Ackerman to, coordinate how the clocking will be, who does what part of the clocking, and so I've been kind of working on that too, and trying to do all of those things with as modest a number of revisions as possible, but it goes slowly. I'm also trying to get to. I'm slowly getting to understand JCL PCB's overall strategy. Their stuff works really well sometimes, and then it gets kind of weird in some of the corners, or some of the buttons you need to click are not anywhere near what you where you don't But I'm getting to know some of their help people fairly well. I'll put it that way. And but also the stuff about pre-ordering parts so that they're there, so that I can have them actually solder them all on instead of me having to do it. But I have had a little success in doing it myself lately. But still, that 9615 is just, I'll go to my grave hating that chip. But in fact, I think that's what's behind a few days lately I've spent trying to reorganize my workspace. Yeah, I think that was what started me on it. Hard to remember now. But trying to make enough space to be able to solder things without burning myself too much. But yeah, I'm putting in as much time as I can on that. I had to go to the movie Saturday and Sunday both for reasons of domestic harmony. But they were good movies.
That's good.
And so that's what I've been doing.
That sounds wonderful. That sounds really, really good, Dave.
Yeah. Actually, I sent out to a few people, Bob, Rob, Franco, John, a few people, a note a little earlier this afternoon. It suddenly hit me that even when I get something that works, I'm not totally going to know it because I haven't got the instrumentation to fully do this, and so I'm trying to arrange, the basic instrumentation tools that I need to tell what's working and what's not.
Right.
And hopefully do a little quantification of how well, but
right.
So, but I'm not going to get too carried away.
That sounds good.
Can I share with you some stuff that is working?
Sure.
Yeah,
definitely. If you're done with it, this is I mentioned earlier that we have a Grafana page that that allows you to look at Doppler shift for whisper signals, and this is the page, and it's available public page. It's password controlled, but I'll share the password to you. But basically, on this page, you enter the transmitter's ID. He might have multiple grids, so we have one person transmitting for multiple grids, but and then the band you're interested in, and the exact transmit frequency. Of course, you need to know that has to be supplied by the guy who's transmitting. Then you specify the kind of whisper packet. A type 3 is a FSD4W. Then you can specify the receive site and the receiver at the receive site. So in this case, W07I is one of those the beacon blaster that I took out to Winnemucca. So this is a GPS disciplined. Bogner has a Bogner disciplined it. And as you can see, we know its transmit frequency out to the millihertz. Paul supplies that information to us. Paul, the person who built it. So we're looking here at the last 3 days of Doppler shift of the receive frequencies as recorded for each of the 2-minute long 4W packets. So the resolution of each receive is resolved to 0.1 hertz. So these don't have the resolution you'd get from your grape things, but you can see that if you look back for 3 days, this is on 40 meters. And if you look back for 3 days, you can see that there's some significant, this is a minus, and surprisingly abrupt changes in the Doppler shift over time. And of course, there's gaps when the band closes between the transmit site is in Winnemucca, Nevada. This is the receive site is at KFS here near me. So it's about maybe 500-kilometer path or so. So you can see the band opens. You can see some, as the motion of the ionosphere is showing up pretty clearly. It's surprising that there's this sudden jumps and all of I mean, this is the first time I've looked at it, but these sudden changes, one would, makes me suspicious. Both ends of this are GPS disciplined. The transmitter is a Bogner, the receiver has a Bogner driving the receiver. This is a RX-888. But if we were to choose at KFS, let's go to a Kiwi, okay, that isn't using the same thing. We're getting the same results. This is the Kiwi's using its internal Kiwi's GPS referencing. So the Doppler shifts that are recorded by the Kiwi are pretty much track those recorded by the 888 next to it that's being driven by the Bogner. So if these are anomalies introduced, they're being introduced by the transmitter, not by the receiver. That seems to be the case. But we can also go look at another site. So now we can look at other bands, of course, and other receivers. But you can see we get kind of greater resolution with the 888 and the Bogner. But these are very surprising. I mean, look at this 4 hertz Doppler shift on 7 megahertz. I mean, where did that come from? And these are the kinds of things that would be wonderful if someone had the time to investigate. But we have up to 6 hertz, a range of 5.8 hertz of Doppler shift from the minimum here to the maximum. And these could be introduced by the hardware. I wouldn't put it past it, but one of the things to do would be look at sites using a GPS discipline QDX, a completely different transmitter. But we can move and, with this site, you can go look at a different site receiving the same transmit. This is KPH, and KPH is showing pretty much for the last 3 days the same events at the same times. So this isn't site specific.
Yeah. This is just from the last couple of days, right?
Yeah, I'm looking the last couple of days. I tried to go out to 7 days, and I don't know, the Grafana query seems to be failing. I don't know why. So this should have data since the eclipse event. So this transmitter has been on and the receivers have been on since then. So I can't tell, I don't know why this page isn't showing data for a longer period of time at this point.
Now, this is the same one that you said that you could get the eclipse signature on too?
Yes, yeah, you can go back and you can go up here and we could specify arbitrary times, start and end times, and display start and end times. I don't think I have, if I don't remember, you can time zone, let's see, times to search. Well, let's see, I don't have I've just had cataract surgery, so I can't focus the things nearby anymore. So, but you can, here's where you can specify the dates, date range. So if you can go and we could just look. Let's go back for the 14th.
Yeah, the 14th.
Okay, to the 15th, and apply the time range. Let's see what we get for this path back then. There you go. So this is the 14th at, we can see the gap here, right here. That's probably the
No,
eclipse.
I think it's before that. Is it? What about between like
This
15...
is UTC.
Yeah, I know. The eclipse was happening somewhere between around 17. So if 17 UTC. So if you go back a little bit to 15 UTC.
Let's see, 14.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
wait a
see it.
second. This is,
No, no,
yeah,
no, not
this
there.
is,
Go forward. Let's see if I can draw it. I think I see it.
yeah, well, here's a,
It's
here's a,
right there.
Right, that looks like the receiver side in your shack.
yeah.
I think that's it.
Ah, it's funny, the cursor it pops up doesn't give me the time that I'm the cursor time. I can zoom in, of course.
Yeah. But
And
that's at the right, that's between 15 and 18 UT.
yeah,
And this is more on the West Coast, right?
yeah, this is
So-
this is going west.
Right, so
This
it's
is
gonna be a little earlier than it was in Scranton. And
So
that's the characteristic signature we see with the
yeah.
grapes. So
Well,
that's
let's
it.
see. Let's go to 20 meters and see what let's see if that, whoops. Okay, I have to put in the frequency in order to, I created a Google Docs where I put all the had everybody put their transmit frequencies in. And so the transmit frequency for OI and 20 meters is this. Oops, I want to copy this. And then we go back to here. I wanted to have what happened? I seem to have lost my Grafana page. Hold on. Let's see, did we get the right? Well, there we go. There's something. There is, what is it? 1600, the band opened up. The signal, it looks like there was Doppler shift and the band closed.
Yeah,
right
it
here.
doesn't look as good as what you had on before.
Yeah, that's it. We could go to 10 meters. We have transmitters, every whisper cycle on every band, and that was one of the wise reasons we created the beacon blaster. So if we go back to 30 meters, of course, we're going to have to go back and get the frequency for 30 meters here. Going to have to put these frequencies into a table so you can just there you go.
There it is.
There it is right there, huh?
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Looks like there's a double hump. Gwen has presented a paper that we'll be sharing with you, in which he shows the effects of transmission along the axis of
Oh, that's great.
So we have and it shows a kind of double bump phenomenon that's very, very pronounced. It seems to indicate exactly the kind of shift that we would expect. So in theory, we have this data from many different positions from W70I, from many different azimuth, because we have GPS disciplined receivers at many sites across the Western U.S. So
yeah,
this is the beginning of the site. So anyway, this data, I'll copy a link to this. If you want to, this isn't of course limited to Whisper Demon transmitters or receivers. You can look at this, looking at the pretty much. It looks at data from Whisper Demon receivers, receive sites. They're the only ones that have this level of detail. But the information, any transmitter, you can look at any transmitter, not just Whisper Demon transmitters or beacon blasters. But we don't know the frequency, accuracy, and stability of most transmitters in the world. So we don't know how it is. Anyway, that's I'll put that in the chat when I can get to the chat a link to this and the password if anybody cares to browse through this data. This is one of about 100 Grafana pages that Gwen has created to look at our databases in different ways and see different things. But I thought this one might be of most interest to you.
Yeah, that's really, yeah, that's beautiful. That's a really nice signature there.
Yeah, well, there's, but what are these about? We need to understand that why this is happening.
Well, I think it'd be really interesting lining this up with the grape data as well, because
yes,
I think, yeah.
Yeah,
So we need to show this to Rachel
and I would,
too.
Yeah, and I would like to. I'd like to be able to create a data set of WWV recordings from the same receivers at the same time, not just
Right.
from our transmitters. And that would be another way to validate that the receive site is working properly.
Yeah.
Because so that's, we get the IQ recordings now, but we don't really have a way to. I haven't demodulated them or put them into the database. In which where we would have a Grafana page would allow us to display WWV. So this is only for Whisper, and it's only really useful for. Well, I shouldn't say it. It's useful for regular Whisper 2 kind of packets as well.
Yeah,
they have the same level of resolution. So one other topic, entirely different topic, but I think long term might be very important. I don't know if anyone is aware that there's been the FCC published last week a proposal, or in fact, it looks like it's going to happen, to change the approved modulation modes. And
Hallelujah.
So they're removing the baud rate limitation and changes it to a bandwidth limitation.
That's great.
And that applies, well, it looks like almost across all of the high HF bands.
Mm-hmm.
So
well, all the HF bands, the only reason it doesn't apply to the bottom two is that they weren't ham bands at the time.
Yeah. So, oh, you're there, Phil. Okay, well then you can tell them more the importance of this. I didn't realize you were part of the group.
We can now do lots of things. We can generate signals in HF that are 2.8 kilohertz wide that aren't voice.
Yeah. That's I was going to tell them that this seems to have inspired you to think about.
Well, I mean, I've actually participated. I mean, I went to the FCC with some friends to lobby in front of this person. That was years ago. It's taken this long to happen.
Well, amazing.
That's great.
Okay, well, that's the end of my.
Rob, did you register for AGU yet?
Yes, I did register, but I haven't heard anything about making a presentation. In fact, I meant to. I didn't know if that was. I thought we were going to hear about this in October, and now we're at the end of October.
Oh, I see it there. So I found your presentation, and
so it's expected.
Yes, it's expected. You have it. You have a time. You're giving a poster.
Okay.
So Gwen is doing a virtual poster in January, actually. Okay. But you are doing a real physical, honest to goodness poster on Friday. In the poster hall.
Okay. So this is I put up one of those wallboard kind of things and with stuff on it, and and people walk by. Is that
That's right. And I'm going to be presenting one at the same time, in the same session, I think, that Steve Serwin has been doing. So Steve Serwin won't be able to make it in person, but I'm going to put his poster up.
Okay.
So
you'll be there nearby.
Yes, I should be just maybe even. So you're 524. You're U53B 524.
Okay.
And then let's see which one. So I can put this open link in new tab, and then let's see if I can find Serwin. And I'll be right next to you.
Okay.
So
great. Okay.
Yeah, his is 523. So we should be standing right next to each other.
Okay, well, good. That'll be reassuring for me
Yes. Yes.
when I get asked questions that I don't know how to answer. So many.
Yeah.
Okay, well then and now you have a template
So you're
for making
I do.
making.
So
Okay.
you're all you paid the registration fee?
Yes, I did.
That
I paid the registration 75 or something. I didn't pay the presentation fee. I think
okay.
they haven't asked that of me yet.
Oh,
I didn't get.
That's due November 2nd.
Oh, goodness.
I will I have someone, I know someone I can ask for a promo code that they might let you in for free as a citizen scientist volunteer.
Okay.
So I will send that email out tomorrow morning.
Okay.
And I'm going to do the same thing for Gwen.
Okay. I've gotten I'd get these regular out of distribution emails, notifications, but nothing directed to me individually about things that I'm supposed to do. And
it might have gone to your spam, or it's a very confusing system.
Okay, well,
it's just generally very confusing. So if you want, I will ask to see if they will just let you in as a citizen
Thank you.
scientist.
Yes, I would appreciate that.
Okay. And I'll do the same thing for Gwen.
I know he would appreciate that too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good. Okay. Well, that's good. Hopefully we'll find someone of interest, but it'll give us a chance to. Is there anyone else coming from the ham site community? Will there be other people from our community there?
Yeah, so there'll be quite a few people there.
Okay.
Mary Lou West is going to go. Phil Erickson always goes. The MIT Haystack people go.
Mm-hmm.
Gareth Perry's going to be there. Who else do I have going from? My wife is going.
Mm-hmm.
Is Ethan Miller going this year?
Probably not. He doesn't really have he's not really working in the science field anymore. He's more in like I think kind of defense contractor sort of position. So they usually don't go to AGU. Well, AGU. I have a few students going. Like Simul Sammy, Tom Pisano, Michael Moles, and yeah. And then who else usually goes? Pat Reif should be there. So some people you've met at the Hamsci workshop in the past. Christina Collins will be there.
Good. Are there any Hamsci events? Are you scheduling dinners or?
I haven't, but we can do that. I have done that in the past, and that would be really nice to do. Figure out which day would be good for that. Probably earlier in the week. So if you can look at this schedule. Well, if here's the link for your talk. Where's the link for your talk or your poster? Yeah, right. So I just put the link in the chat. That'll take you to your particular poster. So the other thing you need to do is you need to go to the presentation corner. Presenters corner. See, and you need to tell them that you are going to actually present. So the second link, try signing in with that second link I just gave you. And they should ask you questions like, are you going to go and present and stuff like that? And you need to say yes. And
I have to dig up. The login and password doesn't seem to be in my keychain. Surprisingly, is this AG? I wonder if there's maybe I need to look for something for AGU.
Yeah, their technical support is pretty good too. So if you have if you're not sure what to do, definitely contact them.
Yeah.
Because the website the whole system tends to be kind of bad and confusing and slow, but their technical support is at least helpful.
Okay. Well, I have a AGU password, but it's I have to look for it, see if I can get in. Well, you don't need to listen to me fight with passwords and
Yeah, but definitely look through your email. There should be in your spam folder somewhere some email from AGU saying you've been given this presentation time. Now click here to go to the presenter's corner and say you're going to accept the presentation. And
okay. Okay.
That's a pretty
Is
difficult area.
it says username, is that typically my email address?
well,
I'll give it a
for
try.
me it is. Or actually, I don't even know.
That isn't
No,
it.
I don't know. In the email, the link that they gave me had my like username and password encoded in it, and it's actually like a series of numbers. So I think the best thing to do is look through your email.
Okay.
And if you can't find in your email, contact their technical support.
Okay. I will look in my this would come from agu.org.
Well, that's a good question. I don't know. And I'm so
see, I don't know. Let's see what I can
see if I can find my email.
I have nothing from
I think it comes
agu.org.
from okay, I can show you a sample of what it looks like. It's from agu@convex.com.
Okay.
So it should look like this. AGU 23 abstract status notification.
Let's see, AGU 23. I'll just look for AG3, the 23 in my, nothing in my spam folder. Let's see if let me look in my trash.
What does AGU stand for?
The American Geophysical Union.
No.
So this is like the largest scientific meeting about the Earth and near Earth space in the country. There's about 25,000 people that go to this.
It's they've given me it. It was sitting here. I even have an AGU 23 folder, and I set up a filter apparently, and the emails got immediately forwarded into the filter my filter into this folder, and I never thought to look at the filter. It's right there. I have it.
Okay, great. So yeah,
it came on October 4th, so it's a.
So I will email the AGU people asking nicely if they might waive your registration, and
okay.
Hopefully they'll say yes.
Okay.
And if not,
given that I'm a retired citizen scientist, I would hope they'd
if they don't, I can cover you.
Okay. Okay. Well, let's hope that neither of us has to do with it. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. I forgot about that and talking to you about that until just now. So that was a good.
Definitely
productive.
I think Gary still needs to talk to me before we sign off.
Right? I make sure that Gwen got it. I haven't heard from him.
Yeah, definitely. If you could tell Gwen the same information.
Yeah.
To make sure he looks for this email and says that yes, he's going to do it.
Okay. Okay. I've got the
and don't forget to put your link in there, Rob, that you said you were going to put in on that day.
Oh yeah, yes. Hold on a second. The presentation link. Let me get. Oh, that's not it. The frequency display link. Now that I can see things, this is. You can. Okay. Here's. The nice thing about the Grafana is that you can you can send, everything's on the URL. Now this is to give you a full on query, but you can then change it, which, change the fields. The login is WD READ is the login, and the password is JTWSPR 2008. Tell me if you get in. Either it's JT 2008 Whisper or JT. I think it's with JT Whisper 2008.
See, it wasn't working for me.
It is not.
No.
Let me look and make sure I have. Let's see. Could you try lowercase just in case
I think I tried lowercase first, actually. I'll be
I tried
right back.
I tried it with the way you printed it there, and it doesn't work for me either.
Hold on a second. Let me get my Safari browser automatically supplies it. Huh. It says account is lowercase WD read and JTWSPR 2008 is since I only auto log in, I never have occasion to type it in. But that's what my password manager says I'm doing. Let me bring up a different browser which won't use that. Let's see, I'm going to here and copy link. Let's see if this. Okay, so I type, oh, it's remembered it too. It's got the password remembered here. It's let me see what it's lowercase w, all lowercase WD read in I've seen several places. Let me go back and see if I can. Let me just type it in. So WD it's okay. Lowercase that and JT Whisper in all uppercase 2008. Log in. Invalid username and password. You're right, guys. I don't know. I don't. I'm sorry, I don't know why it isn't working.
That's okay. We can do it next week.
I'll have to, I can email the group links to this.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. No, I didn't like that either. I tried some permutations of this. Okay, well, that's a distraction that I'm searching my emails for.
Daniel, is Bill Engelke doing okay these days? Is he?
Oh yes,
showing up?
he's doing just fine.
Okay.
He shows up to 2 other telecons, no, or 3 other telecons. He has a telecon with me on Tuesday mornings at 9 a.m. on Thursday mornings at 10 a.m. Sometimes he comes to the Thursday 4 p.m. one. He has a bunch of other ones during the day. So he wanted to take off on Monday nights until we started doing more with the database with the Clementine, because he's rehearsing with his choir to get ready for Handel's Messiah. So yes, he's doing just fine.
Good.
Now I just typed in all lowercase WD read, so it would be all lowercase with that JT password, all uppercase.
That seemed to work for you?
It worked. I got in. Yeah, I'm using a different browser and literally typing those in.
So it was the same what you have there though?
Say that again.
How did you do it differently?
I use this as the login
Okay.
name, but the password is that all caps.
I am. Okay, I just sent the AGU person a request asking for the registration for you and Gwen.
Thank you. Anybody trying to get in with this password, login and password?
I'm going to try now. Yes, I logged in.
Okay, good. So,
Right.
you can memorize that login name and password. We haven't changed it in 4 years, so it's a
Great, I put it in my system here.
yeah.
Yeah, I can see the Eclipse signature very nicely in there.
Well, there's the other. I can share with you the list of the transmit sites if you want.
Sure.
And the frequencies. This is. Let me get this. Where is this? Here it is. No, that's not that one. I guess I close. I got to open it again. Hold on a second. Okay. And now, anybody else interested in the looking at these? These are all GPS discipline transmitters that were in our operation during.
Yeah, I
the-
tried putting in the login and password. It said it was not correct.
So the login is all lowercase and then the
Oh, it's
password is-
lowercase.
Yeah,
and
it's
the
lowercase.
password is uppercase the way he's got it there.
Got it.
Yeah, and I have a board a whisper board that I'll eventually get on the air. I don't know how you decide what frequency you're going to use, but I'll
Well,
go through that process.
there is Gwen, there is one of the Grafana pages, and you can browse around. There's through the Gwen's Grafana pages, and look at them. One of them, it will show a display on each band, a distribution of transmit frequencies across the band. In general, it looks pretty Gaussian, centered around 1500. So but it isn't, there isn't a, so if you're plus or minus, if you're above 1525 or below 1475, it probably doesn't make much difference where you move yourself. And Whisper is good at, multiple signals on the same transmit frequency. It deals with that well. So I wouldn't be all that concerned about. Let's see. I have Nathaniel and who else is interested in the list of transmit frequency?
I'd be interested in it too.
I need your email address.
I'll put it in there right now.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm interested too.
Okay, just put it in there and I'll okay.
Gilman's going to be at AGU. He's got the poster 2 down from us.
I've never been to AGU. Nobody's funded me for it.
Oh no. We should have you go.
You need to be very careful in that area.
Okay, Dave McCaw and Bob. Oh, there's okay. Well, I'm glad you're all interested. That's great. So let's see.
Yeah, I'm realizing I should get more involved with watching those.
Let's see. I'm trying to get this to copy and paste out of the chat window. Copy. And see. No, that's okay. There's just the 2 of you. Oh, 3 of you. Nathaniel, Bob, and David. And that's okay. So okay. Well,
I'm going to check out. I'll see you guys next time.
okay. Take care.
Thank you. Diego is going.
You should have an email from Google.
Yep, I got it.
Okay. And there's actually a link up in the second row, a link to the, one to the same Grafana page we've been looking at.
Great. I download this. I'm going to put this spreadsheet in my science observations folder for
Yeah.
I think the solar eclipse QSO party.
The one that's we need this investigation is this one, John down in San Jose, because he's a unique transmitter. He's way down in Central America. He's not right on the totality, but I think he had 85% coverage or something there. the capital city.
Yeah.
We have one more that it's not on here yet. I didn't talk to him, but there's a fellow in Brasilia who is also transmitting and receiving.
Mm.
I'm not sure he's GPS disciplined, but even, he is the Kiwis, they're 30 millihertz accurate and relatively stable if they have good GPS. Okay. So I think they can even those can provide use for those sites with just Kiwis that can provide useful information. So I wouldn't limit my search and exploration to just these transmitters or just the receive sites. If you look, there's a tab down here for the receive sites.
Okay.
And an especially good one is this KV6X, which is right on in Santa Fe, was right on. So and I had one, this is not, yes, I was reporting, and we've changed it to just AI. We changed the records to AI6BN.
Okay.
And this one is I had this in Winnemucca. It was, and it is, we went out about 5 miles south of the transmitter, one that's still running, and threw a kind of in effect a beverage out across the sagebrush, and it worked remarkably well. Remarkably well. So there are many others that are that I could put in. This is far from complete, but I wanted to at least put up the guys that had. Yeah, there's a map that Gwen created showing where our. Can we make that larger? There, okay. Can you see that? I don't know if you're on the Eclipse and Stations map page. Here, I'll show you what I'm looking at.
This busy
I have
reading
to
your
have
email.
to find the here. Let's see. No, basic. I want to. Here, this one. Share. This is the Eclipse and Station match page.
Yes.
So you can see this is the this is a map of my collaborators.
Mm-hmm.
And Gwen prepared this map. So yeah, he mentions up at the top, right, the this line, that the transmitters and receivers, and some people have both, but I think mine is WOA7I is the transmit ID, and the receive ID is my call sign.
So the red is the transmit and the yellow is receive.
Yes, we did have a transmitter down here at KV6X. That was a temporary installation. It wasn't particularly effective.
Okay.
The antenna that it was attached to, the receive site's great. The transmit site, I haven't looked carefully at the transmit, but I didn't see much on 40 and nothing on almost nothing on 80. And it turns out those are, I think, turns out to be in some respects the most interesting of the bands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were you saying was most interesting?
Oh, the sites along the path of
right.
Yeah.
So how far are you in planning for the next eclipse?
I just bought tickets to go to I just bought tickets to go to Austin for the but I'm looking
Well,
to
I'm wondering
recruit.
about stations.
Yes, well, I've found from this trip that it was wonderful to have a local ham. Just I send them a beacon blaster. Can be set up in 10 minutes, and connect it to their antenna and just run it. So the transmit side, and even is so easy to do that it's almost a non-ham could set it up. So I was hoping I could find a recruit somebody down there along the path and ship them the beacon blaster. I have it sitting here, could ship it now, turn it on and have it running. It's, you know, it,
Well, there'll be a lot of us along this next path.
yeah. Well, I'll have, I think I'll have 2, maybe 3 of the beacon blasters available, and some RX 888s, the GPS discipline 888s. I'm hoping to get that. I was hoping to get John Ackerman to either upgrade his site, or I'll send him a GPS discipline 888 so that he could install it at his remote site.
If it's okay, I'd like to chat with Gary and then head to bed because it's getting to be 10:37 p.m. here. And
yes, of course.
But
we can talk about this event later. But anyway,
this is really nice, Rob. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I appreciate.
I'm just pointing out I have GPSDOs, rubidiums, and I even have a cesium if I really wanted to get crazy about it.
Well, that's great. Well, I don't know. I don't know that you need any of our help unless you want to. And are you running a multi-band receiver like a Whisper Demon on a Kiwi?
Well, I've got the RX 888, which I can discipline.
That'd be.
And then I do have some transmitters that I've been meaning to put together.
Well, I'd be happy to.
That will be disciplined.
Okay. Well, I'd be happy to. If you need a multi-band antenna to be useful.
Well, that's what loops are good for.
Yeah, that'd be great. Well, I'd be happy to lend you a long-term a beacon blaster. And it sounds like you have the receive side of it. Of course, you can't have the receive and the transmitter.
Yeah.
You have to be physically separated by.
Yeah, I got to think about sites available to me that I can separate the transmitter and receiver.
Okay. Well, David, if you're interested in that, I'd be happy to.
We'll talk.
Okay. Well, we'll talk offline. But I'm happy to have you help you set up Whisper Demon with your 888, and that's mostly a IP problem. But we can talk about this another time.
Right.
I think David Nathaniel needs this channel, so I need to go and have some food here. Long past dinner time. Talk to you guys next week.
73.
Thank you, Rob.
Okay. Bye.
Gary, did you want me to stop the recording or?
Yeah, that's fine. There's nothing we need to record. So
sounds great.
we grab the screenshot.